Welcome back to another edition of Tea and Toys. Guys, this is actually a request, my first request video from one of the comments regarding the symbols that appear on the back or on various locations on the Siege boxes, the Earthrise boxes, and to a very minimalist extent the Kingdom boxes. And this also stretches into the Netflix releases as well. So let's first start off with the Siege boxes and where you can find the rank, unit and division symbols, which appear on most of the releases. Now, they do not appear on all the toys, they appear on most of them. I'm going to go through some of the other bits and bobs where they're not on. Like, for instance, you don't get them on the select releases for some reason. I have yet to see any of them on any of the packets and the toy instructions as well. Although on the inside of some of the select stuff is a generic version of this symbol. It's often Starscream's rank, unit, division, so that doesn't apply to the character that is in the box. So I just thought I'd clarify that as well. Well, at least there's no evidence of that. So where can you find these symbols on the toy boxes and packagings for the Siege releases? And on the front of the box you can see here, it usually appear above the character's name in the character's names box. And you could also find it on the instruction sheet on the bottom right hand corner. This is the smaller release boxes, so this would be the Micromasters and the Battlemaster box size, but in relation to this you see it behind the figures, you'd see the symbols, and you do get the same with the larger release toys, but it's the paper insert. So before they did the map thing and before they did the golden disc cards, this was sort of the feature, this was the sort of the fun feature they did for the Siege. And you can also find it in the top left hand corner on the back of most of the boxes. So that's where you can find it all on the Siege packaging. And let's go to Earthrise. Earthrise is something very similar. Again, you would find the rank, unit, division symbol within the character name box. You'd also find it on the insert with the map piece, usually at the bottom of where the figure would be sat in the tray, and then you'd get like the reveal of what faction they were in. Most of the rubbishy mercenaries faction don't have this. Only two of the characters have the rank, unit, division symbol for the mercenaries. That'd be Sound Blaster and Double Dealer, but even then Double Dealer is questionable because of his rank flip-flopping and how he's branded on the box. But moving on the most of the instructions, okay, now it does move on the Earthrise ones, but it is often on the second page near the stats section, so you'd find it there. And on the Kingdom boxes, now it's only appeared on most, not all, Autobot and Decepticon packagings. The Beast Wars characters do not have it. It is replaced with like a caveman drawing of the respective animal which the Beast Wars characters turn into. So we've got Warpath here, and it appears on the back of the box only and does not appear on the instruction sheet. So the only way to retain the information is if you keep the back of the box. So this is the Netflix box. Again, this is the back of the box where you would see the pictures of the figures in the renders, and you'd get the symbol next to each of the characters. And on the packaging, now it does appear on most of the figures for the main figure for the multi boxes, but for some reason on the package, on the instructions, it doesn't appear for the pack-in characters. And these are the pictures of the back images of the Takara releases of the Nemesis Prime and Ultra Magnus. Now we'll come back to these two a little bit later. So this is the breakdown of how the rank, division and units work. So I've got the example here of Warpath next to you. So this symbol would be Private, Sergeant, Captain, Major, General. And the divisions are Ground, Air, Sea and Space. And now these are different from the Decepticons. So the units are Infantry, Special Ops, Artillery, Medic, Engineer, Transport and Intelligence. So you can see from how they put it together using Warpaths here. So we know that he is artillery. So this symbol here, there, is the top. And the central piece is the division. So we know he's a ground unit or supports the ground unit. And the rank is in the bottom right hand corner. So we know that Warpath is in fact a sergeant. So this is another image I've done, a breakdown of all the characters where we see the rank, unit, division appear on the box, on the insert or on the back. Somewhere it's advertised on the figure. So we know the Optimus Primes are generals. I've deliberately not put on the cell animated, accurate version of the Optimus Prime on here. And we know that there's the 3 majors, Ultra Magnus, Prowl and Elita 1. These are the captains. And again, now we also know that there are 2 releases of Impactor. Now, funny enough, Impactor actually increased in rank when it came from moving from Decepticons to Autobots. So there we go. And we've got a whole row of sergeants here. And this bulk here is all the privates. Now you're probably wondering, why is the Netflix Ultra Magnus down there? Now, I'm assuming that Takara didn't get the memo in regards to the relation and the meanings behind the rank unit division, because it's kind of being a forgotten piece of advertising on the boxes, as you can tell from the limited use it has on the Kingdom boxes. Like for instance, the Optimus Prime, the Ultra Magnus, the Galvatron, the Rodimus, the Arc, they don't seem to have this symbol on at all. Like not all characters that were in Siege and Earthrise had it either. Like Countdown that came with Omega Supreme doesn't have the rank unit division. It's not depicted on the instructions or on the box for him, but only Omega Supreme. Now for some reason, the Takara massively demoted Magnus down from a major all the way down to a private in his death roll. So maybe in the Siege cartoon, Prime massively demoted him for going to the Decepticons. we know this is probably a mistake on Takara's part, but it's just kind of interesting and funny that they just whack the symbols on the boxes, not really knowing the meanings for them. Maybe it's deliberate, but I kind of think it isn't. So there we have all known characters up to the point of advertising for Huffer. We know that these characters are their ranks units. Now, what I do remember from some of the information that Hasbro did release about it when they were advertising this is these are based on the ranks at the time of Siege. Now, I do disagree with some of them, but they are what they are and they stand as they stand. So this is the full list we can see of the current characters that have the rank unit division. We've got our generals at the top here. Now, obviously I have included the animated Prime up there as well. And you can see the breakdown of the symbols and how they fit together with each of the characters. We've got the whole list of captains. So Grapple, kind of a surprise Grapple for me that he was a captain, as well as Ironworks. Well, in regards to Ironworks, his opposite in the Decepticons is, I think, is their version of a private. I'll get to that in a minute as well. There's a whole list of sergeants. And these are all the privates. This is page 1 of the privates. And we can see here, Smashdown, his unit was changed. Again, probably another mistake from Siege into Earthrise, but his Siege release was a private, artillery, and he was ground. And then his Earthrise release, he went from a ground to an air. So, bit weird, bit different, but yeah, but that's how it turned out. And then there's the continuation of the list of privates, and I've deliberately kept the Takara version of Ultra Magnus separate, just to show people that, yeah, he was massively demoted. And what's quite interesting is the clone sideswipe and the standard sideswipe are different units. The clone is special ops, and the standard one is just infantry. Now we move on to the Decepticons. Now you see some different changes with the Decepticons. Instead of privates, you've got raiders, and instead of special ops, you've got black ops. Instead of artillery, you've got weapons. Now, I actually don't know what this symbol refers to. I've put medic because that's the opposite for the Autobots, but any research I could not find what this symbol is and what it stands for the Decepticons. It's kind of it appears on one character box, 2 characters, so it's a Micromaster set that have this symbol, and I don't know what it refers to. And then instead of engineering, we've got applied sciences. Transport is the same, and instead of intelligence, we have espionage. And we can see how, I believe this is Shockwave's symbol here. So we know the Shockwave is referred to as space, which is the symbol on the outer side here. We know that he's applied sciences, and we know that he's a major, which is this symbol at the bottom. So that's how you put together the Decepticon ranks. And again, same with the Autobots, there's nobody that has been in the C division. This was taken off of Hasbro's original information when they dropped all this, so this symbol could actually be different if they continue using them, which I don't think they will. And like with the Autobots, we can see the big list of Decepticons. We've got the General Megatron at the top, the 2 majors, and then the captains. Now, this is where I disagree with the ranking. And I know they said they based it on Starscream's rank at the time of Siege. Jetfire is released on the box as an Autobot. Yes, he can switch the symbols according to the function on the toy, but he is marketed as an Autobot and is given the rank of Captain in that. Known second in command, Starscream should be a Major, and the same with Cyclonus. Like, he's the second in command for Series 3 and onwards from the original Transformer stuff. So these two being captains, I kind of disagree with it. I think they should both have been Majors, but it is what it is, and it's released as it's released. And they've got the list of sergeants here, and we can see the two dead guys still retain the rank of sergeant. And although not officially a Decepticon in the release of the Netflix Mirage, that's why I've sort of circled him in red to show that he retains the Autobot rank, but he's still a sergeant. So if you want to have him, if you want to display your characters in rank order, you can put the Decepticon Mirage in the sergeant section. And we've got a whole list of raiders. Now I have circled the Nemesis Prime Takara release with a box to show that although they've been depicted as privates on the Takara box, again it's probably a mistake on their part, but he isn't an out and out Decepticon. He is like a facsimile of Optimus Prime, although only in a possible future image in the Earthrise cartoon. There we are, here we have them as privates, but in the Raider section of the Decepticons. You see there's a whole host of Raiders. And it's funny that Pounce and Wingspan are two different ranks. So yeah, interesting. Go through the list of the Decepticons. So we've got the generals at the top, again, Animation Megatron and Standard Megatron. We've got the two majors, Soundwave and Shockwave, the three captains, and a whole host of sergeants. As you can see, most of the Seekers are in fact sergeants, except for like the Rainmakers. You can see I put Mirage in there in red at the bottom to show that he's actually retains his Autobot rank when he's a Decepticon for all of about 10 seconds. And then we've got a whole host of Raiders again. Again, the changing of the colours here, that doesn't mean anything. That's just how the best capture I could find on the internet for their symbols for this video. Again, I've separated Nemesis Prime. He's a Decepticon on his box, on the toy, but the rank unit division symbols, for some reason, Takara left them as Autobot version. And again, it might be deliberate. I kind of think it was a mistake. Well, I hope you found that all interesting, showing the Decepticon and Autobots rank unit divisions so far in the releases. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, here's just a quick epilogue to explain that none of the Quintesson characters, no example of the Quintesson characters, have the rank unit division system printed on the cards, instructions, or anywhere else. Now, Bumblebee has two reasons for why he doesn't have it on his card back or instructions. The in-universe reason is that Bumblebee was basically working for himself in the series, and the real-world reason is that Volkswagen don't allow any military connotations to be used in regards to using the Beetle. We know why that is. Volkswagen are trying to forget some war guilt in regards to certain person's favourite car being the Volkswagen Beetle. But I thought I'd just add that in there to explain why Bumblebee is missed out on the lists, and that's the reason why.